Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. I have the utmost respect for you. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay-at-home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers. Shout out to the Uber driver, Lyft driver, truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery drivers, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the crossing guards, school teachers, law enforcement personnel, medical field personnel, military personnel. Shout out to the barbers in the barbershops. Shout out to the hairdressers, or what you should call the beauticians or cosmetologists. Shout out to the AC techs. Shout out to the engineers. Shout out to the heavy equipment operators. Somebody said SouFLo. Still shout out the dressmaker them and the tailor them, because we're still in effect. One lady contacted me and she said my brother is the one in Jamaica who still makes all the kids' school uniform in the area. So it's actually still happening, which I'm happy to hear. So shout out to them. Remember when we go back to school at Jamaica and we little, and grandma and mommy them used to carry we uniform, go around a tailor, go around a dressmaker, and you used to have to go around there and get yourself measured, and them tailor make your dress, and she used to tell them to make it long so you can grow into it, and then them used to take out the hem as you get older, right? Shout out to everybody tuning in this morning. Shout out to the good people them with good heart, good conscience, good mindset. You know what I'm saying? People who wish good for others as much as you wish good for yourself. Shout out to you. Here we are on this beautiful Friday morning. Today is the 6th of February 2026, and we are happy to be here. We are blessed to be here. We were chosen to be here. We were given this gift of the present. You know how them say present? Like you wrap up a present. And the present, this is the real present. Being here, present, here, now, kind of thing. And we're here, man. And listen, this video is going to be not too lengthy, like hours long, but it's going to speak to two topics that we have for you this morning here. The first topic is we're going to talk about Jah Cure's victim. Remember, you know, Jah Cure stabbed up a man over in the Netherlands, and that is why he is doing time behind bars there, right? We'll get into the details of everything, what the victim who's finally speaking out had to say, and how we feel, or what our opinion is about that situation. We covered a story before about this U.S. Army veteran who lives in, I believe, Atlanta, Georgia, who was facing deportation. I think he has been in the United States of America for about 50 years. Could you imagine being here for 50 years and then they deport you? Anyways, his story has a development to it that we're going to talk about this morning, as well as a message in the development. If you feel like talk about anything else more as we go along, I will do so. Shout out to everybody tuning in this morning. Big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Before I go any further, it's no secret that this is a pre-recorded live, right? So YouTube allows us to record the morning show if we feel like it, because I have other things to do this morning that cannot wait. They pertain to my children and school. So that's why we're not sitting live in front of you this morning. But like I said, it is February 6th, 2026, and this morning I wake up bright early and bushy tail, get dressed, brush my teeth, wash my face, you know what I'm saying, and stood before the camera and gave you this material right here. So I'm still putting in the work, even though it is not live, but it's still live. I'm in the comment section watching with you anyways as we go on the move. Alright, I'll probably make this up to you though this weekend with a live as me sitting in front of the camera, because a whole heap of things are going. Whole heap of things are going on. Alright, big up to the green name people. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you for that extra layer and level of support. All the green name them said to me is that SouFLo will rate you. Yeah, we respect your thing. Yeah, as a matter of fact, high ratings. High enough to give you $10 every month. That is it. So So big up to them. I appreciate them greatly. And for the rest of you who don't feel like you rate me enough to get your membership for the chat, then I can't say nothing. You know what I mean? I cannot say anything at all. Watching Keznamdi win the Grammy and then seeing the conversation around it among Jamaicans especially, a lot of Jamaicans are saying stuff like, how would a Rasta boy? Them really a thief at the Grammy. Grammy not get no respect because we don't know him. Somebody just come out of the blue, so why if it come out there? Somebody just appeared out the blue and all of a sudden him win Grammy. Who is him? Well, check it. Kind of like our channel over here. Because you don't want to support with the maximum support does not mean that we are not here. Because you don't tune in every day does not mean that we don't put up content every day. Because you don't like and share does not mean that other people don't like and share. So we're there do a thing. And we soon win Fiwi Grammy too, in a Fiwi own way. Like how Keznamdi win Theme Grammy in a music, even though no founder never know who he was until now. Alright? I'm still saying, go check out the album. You will understand why the album won a Grammy. May I tell you from now. Anyway, let's start off with our first topic for the morning this morning. The first topic for the morning we'll talk about. When me check it out, Lord, no one no better than yard. Hear me now? Boy, you know, as long as I've lived in the United States of America, I have never felt secured in this country. I can say it on camera 100% out. I was one of them who came here as a child, and you know, when you come as a child and then you hold a green card, according to immigration laws, I believe after 5 years you are eligible to apply for citizenship, right? Well, for me, I didn't apply for citizenship until I joined the military. And the reason is, check this out. The reason is because I always told myself that citizenship here, them will take it away from you any day. Like if them feel like it, they'll take it away from you whenever they want, take it away. So what's the purpose of getting it when they can just frivolously take it away from you? You know? And I grew up, you know, when you're young and you don't really understand the system. So I grew up thinking that there was no point in getting it. It wasn't until I joined the military here in the US that they called me in one day and they said, hey, we're realizing that you're not a citizen. In my mind, I said, damn. Me joined with a green card. What's the problem, right? But they said, we realize you're not a citizen and you can't serve any further without becoming a citizen. So you're going to have to either point blank. The military is kind of dry. They get right to the point. You're going to have to either get your citizenship or exit service. And of course, I had just started having fun in the army. So I decided to go ahead and get my citizenship. It came through pretty quickly too. It's expedited. That's why I tell people to say, if you're there, you're there on a little green card, you know what I'm saying, you want to further your thing, further, then jump into the military and give them a couple of years of service. You might like it. Just choose something that you absolutely like to do. But in the meantime though, I never thought that I was safe because I served. And before I served, I still never thought I was safe. Me always tell myself, say, Jamaica is where you're born. Jamaica is the only place them cannot fling you out of on the face of the earth. And remember, I live in other countries before, I've lived in other countries in Europe, Germany, the UK, other places. And I never felt like I could stay here so for the rest of my life and nobody would have bothered me. I always thought as long as I'm outside of Jamaica, there would be a day that somebody would come and say, pack your stuff and leave our place. And I wouldn't be arguing with them. Maybe pack and leave because it's not my place, right? So I've always prepared myself for that to happen in life one way or another. This is a warning sign to some of you who are basking in the false sense of security that you are so safe in other people's country. Yeah, you're not. So with that said, let's get into this story right here real quick. This is the update, but we have to walk you through the whole story first. The first one says Georgia, which is Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia Army veteran is facing deportation after 50 years in the United States of America. His daughter said, "Thanks for your service should mean something." You know, when people say to veterans, "Thanks for your service," and you see those bumper stickers on cars that say, "Thank a vet." If you're enjoying your freedom in the United States of America today, thank a vet. And thanks for your service if you are a veteran. And them have Veterans Day and all these other things. And people tell you thank you, and restaurants have discounts, or veterans eat for free today, all this other stuff. That's about as much as you will get. Okay? Thanks for your service doesn't really mean thanks for your service when it comes to immigration. Let me tell you something. I've realized that it's like there's a vendetta against immigrants that are veterans with this immigration administration. Let me explain. I've seen Purple Heart veteran get deported. Now, a Purple Heart infantry combat veteran service gets no deeper than that. This is somebody who was on the front lines of combat, who probably got shot up or blown up, got hurt severely, was probably medevaced off the field, lost a lot of blood, had to be grafted and put back together, etc., etc., etc. You name it. If they could look at somebody like this and tell them, you were caught with some drugs 14 years ago. Dig up back your old record. You were caught with some drugs 14 years ago. We're deporting you today. Then, thanks for your service means nothing. We understand you're a Purple Heart veteran. We understand you went full combat infantry, frontline fighter. We understand that you almost gave your life for our freedom and the way of life we have here. You just can't participate in this anymore. There's the door. Get the hell out. It has happened. It has happened. So, again, because you served in the military, please don't think that that's going to save you. I have also realized that the people who are in the business of deporting people from the United States of America, most of them never served in the military. That's why it's so easy for them to deport veterans who have served, especially a combat veteran. It's easy for them to deport you because they have no idea what service is, military service is. They don't care about you. They're just ticking a block, doing paperwork, filling a quota that their boss told them we have to have this many deportations by the end of this month, and every month we have to get a certain number. You're just one of the other ones that makes up the number. Everyone counts. Bodies, bodies. That's all they see you as, bodies. Send more bodies. Out the door with bodies. That's it. An Army veteran from Covington, Georgia, who has lived in the United States of America for more than 50 years, was facing imminent deportation to Jamaica. Godfrey Wade, a Jamaican-born veteran, has been in the USA, in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, custody for nearly 5 months. His attorney says an emergency stay of removal, their last chance, was denied. But they put in an appeal right away, and the appeal was pending. I mean, they were fighting all the way to the end to get him to stay. You know, he has grandkids here, he has children here, he's a family man. I mean, I've seen a video of him and his family and everything, and they put on a show. When I say they put on a show, I don't mean that they're faking it. I mean that it looks like a beautiful family. The American dream of a family. Well, loved ones have said that Wade's years of military service in the United States of America should count for something. He's been missing from the home that he shares with his fiancée, April Watkins, who said, "We've built an amazing life together, and to be separated from that is very challenging, especially since he has not had the opportunity to have his voice heard." You have to listen to the intricacies of his case, right? Wade is also absent from the lives of his 6 children and his 3 grandchildren. It's been an emotional roller coaster, said his daughter, Kristen Wade, who described her own daughter crying at night for her beloved grandfather, because she was close to her grandfather, right? The Army veteran with decades in the U.S. faces deportation after ICE detention, denied emergency stay. That's the next update. He was denied an emergency stay. Wade came to the United States of America lawfully in 1975 as a teenager. This is before I was born. Him there in America before me even born. The crazy thing about this too is there are a lot of people who would jump on the video, not listen to the details, and they'll be like, well, you should have came into the country legally. He came in legally back in 1975. He enlisted in the Army. He served overseas. He was honorably discharged. That was his foundation, and he took pride in it. And he made his family and others believe in the U.S. Army, said his daughter, Emanuela Wade. He spoke of his time in service with great pride. He lived as a lawful permanent resident for decades, working as a chef, a tennis coach, and a fashion designer. He's dipped his hands in everything that makes America good, his daughter said. One question I have straight off the bat is, you lived here for decades without getting your citizenship, even after serving in the military? I don't know if there was a time where you were allowed to serve in the military indefinitely with green card status, but I know for a fact that by the time I joined the military, you could join with a green card, but you could not complete years in the military with a green card. At some point, early point, you're going to have to get your citizenship. And that's like 1.5 years in, they called me in and they were like, listen, we realize you're not a citizen. You're going to have to either get your citizen or exit service. Point blank, period. Right? Which is how I ended up saying, I guess it's time for me to get my citizenship then. Wade was here for decades without citizenship, just as a permanent resident. I would like to hear the backstory as to why he did not get citizenship. Wade's path to deportation began in September 13th of 2025. Mind you, he's been here since 1975. He was pulled over for failing to use a turn signal in Conyers. He was arrested for driving without a license then. Let me stop and say this. If you are in the United States of America right now, I am no attorney. I am not a attorney. I am not a immigration attorney. But even a immigration attorney like Charla's Law, they will tell you that if you've been here for long enough and you've had your green card for long enough, then the next step is to go ahead and seek out getting your citizenship, because one, we've seen too many of us who did exactly what I did. I don't get no citizenship, yeah, man. I wait a little bit. I don't really want it still, cause if anything happen, if me sneeze wrong, them take it from me. I have to go through all that process. But what you don't understand is this. Having your citizenship gives you an extra layer of support or an extra layer of security that being a green card holder does not give you. I'm not saying you're totally safe with your citizenship, because you're absolutely not. Especially under this administration and Donald Trump saying that he is absolutely looking to take away citizenship from as many as he can. Denaturalization. But in the grand scheme of things, according to how the immigration laws are set up, citizenship carries an extra layer of security over being just a green card holder. So if you're in a position to get it, go get it. All right? Get it before you start getting in trouble and all them things that up. Now, Wade was arrested for driving without a license after he was pulled over for making a turn without using proper turn signal. I know he probably sat there and thought, damn, if I had just turned the damn turn signal on, I would still be with my family today. Or it's probably a case of that's what they gave you to get you pulled over. They'll pull you over and say, hey, driver license registration. You say, officer, may I ask why I'm being pulled over? And they'll say, well, you're out here turning without proper turn signals, right? That's a moving violation. If that's his reason for turning you over or for pulling you over, then that's his reason for pulling you over. But once he realizes that you are now driving on a suspended license, it doesn't matter why he pulled you over, you're driving suspended. So Wade was also found to be driving without a license. Soon after, ICE detained him due to a 2014 removal order stemming from a 2007 bounced check and a 2006 simple assault charge. A bounce check. A bounce check simply means you wrote a check. I wrote a check for $400 and I didn't have any money in my account when I wrote the check. I didn't have enough money to cover the check in my account. They've made that a deportable offense. So the 2006 bounce check, our 2007 bounce check, and the simple assault charge from 2006. Mind you, this is 2025. So you're saying to yourself now, damn, if all those were deportable offenses, or if all those were so criminal that he should have been deported, how come he was still in the country till 2025? And he wasn't hiding. He was living his life outright on Front Street, if you will. According to his attorney, the assault involved a domestic argument where a glass of milk was spilt and pots and pans were knocked to the floor. That's another thing I always talk about. If you are an immigrant and you're here and you're trying to get straight, or if you are straight, you see that domestic violence stuff, or that it doesn't even have to be violence, just a domestic argument that turns into glass of milk being spilled, pots and pans knocked to the floor. That alone could get you in trouble. That alone could cause you to lose your status here in the long run. That's what they're using against him, you know. Pots and pans knocked to the floor and a glass of milk spilt. Nobody was hit. The report didn't say anybody was abused physically. He didn't lay hands on anybody. So it was considered a simple assault charge. I guess he was guilty of assaulting the glass of milk and the pots and the pans. So according to his attorney, the assault involved domestic argument where a glass of milk was spilled and pots and pans were knocked to the floor. No physical violence was alleged, and Wade paid the bounce check and the related fines to that bounce check. He paid the fines, got past it. Someone's old mistake does not define who they are, says one of his daughters, Christian Wade. Understand the context, right? There's more to a story than just 4 words. And people need to see the humanity of a person. Watkins added that no one is perfect, and he restituted the money, or he paid forward the money. He made a bounce check. See, back in the day, a lot of you don't even know about checks, right? Because nobody now write check no more. But back in the day when we were growing up, right here in the United States of America, it was a typical thing for people to write a check. And if you didn't have no money, say for instance, you wanted to buy some grocery on Wednesday, but you don't get paid until Friday, but you broke Wednesday, what you would do is go grocery shopping, pay for it with a check, and then the check usually takes 3 to 5 days to clear from these business establishments. I'm getting paid in 2 days anyway, so the money is going to be in my account. I don't have none now, but it's going to be in my account. People used to literally survive off of checks. You don't have no money to buy gas to fill your tank to go to work for the week, but you get paid by the end of the week. So you write a check, 3 days to 5 days out, and you fill the tank and you go to work, and at the end of the week you cross your fingers like this, because they had actually turned it into a criminal offense. You cross your fingers like this and you say, God, please, please, please let that check hit before they try to clear it. He came up in that time. So once the check clears, you're good. You'll be like, whew, thank you, Lord. But if the check didn't clear, then there was a problem. You would have to pay these extra fees and all these other things. If you are found to be doing it constantly, then flagrant foul. They would send the law after you. So he ended up writing one bounce check, and he ended up paying the whole bounce check off and the fees associated with it. Is that something to deport somebody for, especially a U.S. Army veteran? I don't know, man. You take it however you want to take it. I know on social media, when we do these videos, enough people come here upon them high horse. Well, that's why you keep yourself straight. And that's why you not do nothing bad when you're in other people country. But you got to think about trying to survive, right? And you got to put yourself in people's shoes sometimes. If you really there butter upon this minibus of life, and you really can't afford things, and you're literally really living paycheck to paycheck, it's either you're going to sell some drugs, sell some ass, work a couple of jobs, whichever way you have to do it to get by. Nobody cares as long as you have the money to pay for what's needed, right? So if you figured out, like, look, I'm not going to be the worst of the worst. I'm not going to sell body, sell my parts, and I'm not going to go sell drugs or rob people. I'm working legitimately. I can write a check Wednesday, and hopefully them don't try cash it till Friday. By that time I get paid, the money good. If you're looking back at that and you're saying to yourself, him deserve to get deported for that, then you're a wicked person, friend. Yeah. So on top of that, she said no one is perfect. He paid the money back for the bounce check. He has an amazing relationship with his children, as well as his ex-wife, even. Him and his fiancée has built a wonderful life together here in the U.S. Wade's attorney said that the removal order was issued when Wade did not show up. Because we have to get to the meat of the matter, you know. How is he getting deported to Jamaica after being here since 1975? Well, those few little infractions, writing a bounce check, and a simple assault charge where a glass of milk and a couple pots and pans were thrown around, I guess, led to an immigration case. The immigration case, they filed a removal order on him from 2014. We're in 2025. That's about 12 years ago. From 2014, you know, they filed a removal order. Removal order simply means you no longer have grounds to be in this country. You should be removed from this country. But hear this. He knew nothing about the removal order. He kept going to work, fill out job application, do interviews, get job, do work, pay taxes, live his life. Nothing came up anywhere that he had a removal order and should not be in the country. So you have to ask yourself too. So he never got citizenship, obviously. So the green card that he had this whole time, was it expired? Because if it was expired, then, you know, all fairness, that's the point where you would know that, hey, I'm here illegally because my green card expired. So I'm interested to know how he stayed here so long from all that time, even from 2014. A deportation order was issued for him and he was not notified, according to his attorney. He got no notification of it. Court records show that hearing notices were sent to an address that is being used by ICE, but those were returned as undeliverable. They sent it to an address where nobody was. He wasn't there. It kept coming back to them as undeliverable. Wade was unaware of the removal order against him until he recently got arrested for driving and not turning with a signal, and then also driving with a suspended license. One part of it, it says, am I driving with a suspended license? The next part of it, it says he was driving with no license. I guess if you're driving with a suspended license, it's like driving with no license, but there is a difference. If you never had a license before, you're driving with no license. If your license is suspended, you had a license, but your license is suspended. Just being technical, right? So the family and the attorneys, they fight to reopen the case as Louisiana transfer raises fears of his imminent removal. I'm taking you step by step through what has happened to him. After his arrest, Wade was taken to Atlanta's ICE field office, and then he was transferred to Stewart Detention Center. For months, loved ones said that they made 5-hour trips to visit him. Separated by plexiglass, they could no longer touch him. Recently, Wade was moved to a detention center in Louisiana from Atlanta. You know, some family there in Atlanta, right? And his attorney said that he was placed on a flight manifest to Jamaica this week. So all their efforts and their filings and their appeals and their please listen to us, he did not get the memo. If he got it, he would have showed up. Y'all sent it to the wrong address. You have proof that nobody received it. It came back to you. Please don't deport him. They put him on a flight manifest to Jamaica this week. His family said, and his attorney said, you're on pins and needles because you don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to hear that he's in Jamaica? Do we need to figure out transportation, figure out clothes for him, what he's going to wear? Added his daughter, Christian Wade. Well, Christian, I can tell you this. When they deport you, they don't give a damn what you're wearing. Yeah, most deportees come down with one bag. One scandal bag, we call it, my friend. I think his children were born here, so she probably won't understand the patois, but maybe she does. One little plastic bag, like a Walmart shopping bag, is what they deport you with. They don't care what you wear when you land. Y'all better be there for your daddy on the other side, and that's the only help that he's gonna get. So, ICE did not respond to requests or comments about the situation. Its online detainee search listed Wade as in ICE custody at Richwood Correctional Center in Louisiana. Because of the 2014 removal order, the one that he did not receive, Wade has not had a hearing because they're looking at him like, you don't deserve a hearing, you already had a removal order. That's the end of the road for you. His attorney has filed an appeal asking for his case to be reopened. What we're asking for is just one hearing. Just one hearing and one chance. That one opportunity to be heard. Wade's attorney says that members of Congress from both parties, both Democratic and Republican, have written to Department of Homeland Security urging the case to be reopened. If Department of Homeland Security does not intervene, Wade could be deported to Jamaica within days. It's heartbreaking for him. He's a very strong man of faith, you know, and so his faith is that foundation, and with that, I'm able to lean on him. He's stable to lean on me. He's able to lean on me. Behind bars, Wade's creativity shines in his drawing of other inmates as his family fights for the chance to paint a picture of his life and service. You're not from this country, but you served in their military here. At a time when they needed you the most, you served. You're willing to die for this country? That should mean something. That should matter. Remember I told y'all the story about when I came back from a combat mission and there was this mid-age older white man and he was giving thanks to all the veterans that had served, right? Couple of things. For one, some of the guys, the Caucasian guys who said, I'm a vet, they didn't have to show proof that they were vets. I served. Another white person believed them. Thank you for your service. He was going down the line thanking vets. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. When he got to me, he said, I'm not sure that your claim is not stolen valor. That's the first thing he said. I'm not sure that your claim is not stolen valor. I said, stolen valor? For those of y'all who don't know what stolen valor means, it means somebody who is pretending to have served in the military when they never did. There are lots of them out here. Sometimes you'll see them dress up in full military uniform and walk through a mall or somewhere because they go to places where discounts are offered to veterans, or, you know what I mean, different types of perks are out here, or just to soak up people saying, oh man, thank you for your service so much. And they never served. Those of us who are veterans, we can normally spot them from a mile away. It either has to do with the insignias on the uniform being placed in the wrong place, your rank is in the wrong place, this, that, and the other. It's just 1,000 different things that you could tell. But the average civilian never served. So the average civilian doesn't know that. They just see somebody who appears in a uniform and they're like, thank you for your service. But this person tried me. I'm fresh out of a combat zone. I'm not sure if your claim is not stolen valor, he said. It hurt my feelings so bad. But you know, it was another one of those times where I looked around me and I said, you notice that he just said thank you for your service to all the other white guys who are white like him, right? And then he said to me, and he didn't ask for any kind of proof from any of them. He never said to any of them, how do I know you're telling the truth? Show me your ID. He just said thank you for your service to them. And thank you, brother. For me, stolen valor. Then he said, when I showed my ID, I don't know if I was looking to be thanked by him or what the hell I was looking for, but I showed my ID. And when I showed my ID, he said, I didn't ask you to go do that anyways. I didn't ask you to do that anyways. And walked off. Yeah? And you know, I was told that you serve so that even people like those can enjoy the freedoms that they enjoy. Even the right to not like you and to tell you to your face, fresh out of a combat zone, I didn't ask you to do all that and thank somebody else next to you and don't thank you. That's freedom. That's freedom. Anyways, they're saying his team, his family, his lawyer, you're not from this country. You served. A lot of born and raised here did not serve. You were willing to put your life on the line for this country. That should count for something. Thank you for your service should mean something, his daughter said. Guess what? It doesn't. So today, February 6th, 2026, his story continues. It's not good. Well, for him, because that's not what he wanted for himself. A U.S. Army veteran who had lived in the United States of America for more than 5 decades, more than 50 years, was now deported to Jamaica on Tuesday morning, according to his family. Godfrey Wade, the Jamaican-born lawful permanent resident and military veteran, was taken into custody last year by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He was ultimately removed from the United States of America despite his appeal from his family, his attorney, and advocates. Christian Wade, his daughter, told Newsweek that her father informed her and the family that he would begin the outtake process. The outtake process is when they're getting ready to send you out of the country. At 10:30 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, believed he was already on a flight to Jamaica. Unfortunately, she said, my dad will be arriving in Jamaica today. Christian Wade said in an exclusive interview she recently did. Newsweek and other news media houses contacted ICE trying to hear what's up, what happened. This is a veteran who served honorably and was honorably discharged. Two minor infractions from back in 2007 and 2006, and it's 2025 and he's deported, even though people on both sides of the aisle from the Democratic and the Republican Party spoke up on his behalf, hoping to stall his case long enough for him to be taken care of, for him to get one hearing. And he was denied and deported. Well, Tricia McLaurin, one of Trump's forerunners in this whole immigration thing, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, said on September 18th, ICE arrested Godfrey Oliver Wade, a criminal, illegal alien from Jamaica. His criminal history includes domestic assault, criminal trespass, reckless conduct, depositing account fraud, violation of probation, multiple arrests for driving on a suspended license. She just went on and on. Now, if you've been listening this whole time, you heard me tell you what his attorney said he was arrested for, right? He was arrested for driving and failing to turn, and then when they pulled him over, well, he was pulled over for driving and failing to turn with a proper turn signal. He was arrested or taken into custody because he was driving on a suspended license. After they got him into custody, they dug up all that other stuff on him. Oh, 2007, you wrote a bad check. It bounced. 2006, you had a domestic issue. It was a minor assault charge. You spilled the damn milk and you threw some pots and pans around. You didn't hurt anybody. The person who, your other person in this case said you didn't do anything to them. But still, it's on the record. How she described him: unlawful, illegal, criminal, alien from Jamaica. Domestic assault, criminal trespass, reckless conduct, depositing for account fraud, violation of probation, multiple arrests for driving on a suspended license. The list goes on. In 2014, we talked about that already, where he was, that removal order that he never got came. His daughter said, "My dad is not the worst of the worst." Remember, they're supposed to be removing people from the United States of America who are the worst of the worst. The rapists, the murderers, the child abusers and molesters, the spousal abusers, beat your wife, kick her down, all kinds of stuff. Those people, the drug dealers, the scammers, those people. She said, "My dad is not the worst of the worst." So while he has had legal issues in the past, those cases were resolved, and they do not define who he is today. Godfrey Wade, we already told you, arrived a long time in the United States of America. He is a father of 6 children and 3 grandchildren with close family ties in the U.S. Despite his military service and his length of residence in the United States of America, 50 plus years, or 50 years, he was deported. You know, this goes to show you, right? When me check it out, Lord, no one no better than yard. You hear me now? I've been telling people for the longest, go back to where you come from. Take a trip back to where you come from. I religiously go back to Jamaica at least once a year. Every year. Only reason we haven't been this year or last year coming down to, well, we did. Well, yes. Last year coming down to was because, well, we came back from Jamaica in January. February, right? January. So we did go. But only reason we haven't been back yet is because the baby. So we just had a baby, right? The whole process of getting pregnant and me thinking wifey is too pregnant to fly. And I'm glad we thought that way because y'all wanna see what happened to Kiprich and Fim woman, not true? Kiprich and his woman, Kizzy. Kizzy Dan and Kiprich lose them baby. Jump on flight, gone over one place and one part for work and lost the baby. And I've always thought you shouldn't fly if you're pregnant. So we haven't made that move. But as much as I can say, yeah, I'm no criminal and I haven't done anything wrong in the United States of America and I'm here. At the same time, you never know. You never know. So, man, to invest 50 years of your life, half a century, in a country that throws you out at the end of the day and tell you they don't want you here anymore, that's tough. That's tough. Now when he lands in Jamaica, is he going to be okay? A lot of people are not aware that migrants without legal status and green card holders are eligible to serve in the U.S. military. His daughter described mixed emotions surrounding her father's deportation. She says that she felt relief because he's now outside of their custody in that horrible detention center. But she is still expressing disappointment at the legal process and how it turned out for him. "I honestly can't describe my feelings," she said. It's a feeling that is foreign to me. In this moment, I'm choosing to lean on peace. I have peace of mind that my dad is no longer suffering mentally and physically in that inhumane detention center. I have peace that I can now give him a hug. I have to travel to Jamaica to do it, but I can now give him a hug. I have peace that my girls can now see their grandfather after 5 months of him being incarcerated in that place. You know? His family and his attorneys are vowing that it's not over, that they will continue to fight for their dad and his opportunity to be heard in the courts in the United States of America. They will continue to speak up on his behalf. They're saddened by the situation, saddened by the way the government's operating in the United States of America right now. All they're asking for is simply for one chance for him to stand before a judge And that was considered too much. Too much to somebody who served when he was needed. When this nation needed somebody to step up and serve. Go back on the yard. Go back on your place, friend. Yeah. For those of you who haven't been back in a long time, I'm telling you already, you know, start make the phone call them. Auntie Junie? Yeah, it's Carissa. And she would say, Carissa? Which Carissa? Me don't know no Carissa. Because you throw a stone behind you, you haven't been in contact, right? And you haven't been back. Carissa, Dottie daughter, all you're going to hear is, Lord Jesus Christ, Carissa? My niece, Carissa? Carissa, how you doing, love? Start a relationship with your people, man. And then start to filter back into the place. Because I'm telling you, this ain't your place. And them can fling you out for any good reason. Right now, you see Donald Trump doing that whole denaturalization thing. When I read through the paperwork of what they're trying to do, they just have to come up with something that makes them think that something was wrong in your paperwork to get your status here. Did you lie on your application about something when you became a citizen? Now you're going to have to prove to them that it wasn't a lie that you told. You could easily get caught up in the system. They could accuse you of lying and make you have to go get an attorney and go to court and go to and prove it. But here's what. Once you are accused, you are also eligible for lockup. They can take you and detain you once you are accused. I would love for Charla and the other attorney to tell us if this is true. But from what I read in the paperwork, it says that once you are accused, they can take you into custody. And the problem there is most people end up surrendering the fight and saying, listen, please send me home, man. Just send me back to my country. Because they'll do stuff like you'll be arrested in New York or Georgia, and then you'll end up in Louisiana, Mississippi, somewhere far away from your family, where your family, most families don't have the resources to see their family member on a regular basis. Now you got to still figure out how to get an attorney to defend you. You're from, your family base is in another state, far away. You're locked up way over in you know where. It breaks people and makes them end up saying, just send me home. I'm tired of this. I don't like being locked up in here anyways. It's driving me crazy, and it look like y'all are going to send me home already anyways. Send me home. Invest in where you come from, friend. I know that this family didn't want this for this veteran. They didn't want this for him. But I'll say this to the family. Mr. Godfrey Wade, if he has your family support, this is God doing what God wants to do. Look at it that way, okay? I'm going to explain something to you like this. In life, we make plans. You ever hear them say, man a plan while God a laugh? God a laugh after your plans because you have big grand plans. Next year by this time, January the 1st, 2027, I'm going to have $100,000 cash, and then by June of that same year I will have accomplished this, and then by November of that same year I'm going to go here and do that and go there. And God is laughing because God is looking at your human plan, and God is like, that ain't what I got planned for you. Are you listening to me? I'm talking to you. That's not what I have planned for you. But you're stiff-necked and you're like, I have my life planned out. I'm going to do this. You know, we're taught to plan. But you have to also surrender to the will of the Most High as well with your planning. And understand that this is how life works. Sometimes you plan things and things don't go as you plan. Matter of fact, all the time you plan things and things don't go as planned. That's why some people are like, you got to have a backup plan. And you got to have a backup plan to back up that backup plan. Now, if all of that fails, then it wasn't meant to be. I just say from the beginning, have a plan. Of course, have a backup plan. And a backup plan to back up the backup plan. But at the end of the day, surrender to the will of the Most High. Because if it don't work out after all that, maybe it wasn't meant to be. At his age, if he's been in the US for 50 something years, he's probably, I'm not trying to guess his age or anything, he's probably mid 60s. Probably it's time for you to go home. Probably it's time for you to go eat some organic food. Probably it's time for you and your fiance to start new adventures, seeing life differently. I mean, the view from a tropical island. Probably it's time for you to go reacquaint yourself with beautiful Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Probably it's time for a life change. Probably it's time for a life change. That's what it is. So you just gotta roll with the punches and continue to enjoy life. Continue to live. Not just survive, but live. And there's a lot of life to be lived in Jamaica. You ain't been back for a while. There's so much for you to do. Go and go climb Duns River Fall before you get too old to climb the fall and can't climb it no more. That's a big thing of mine. Go and go find some river. Go cook pan riverbed or riverside. You know what I mean? So run a boat pan the side of the river and go and go out to go check out to open air all night dance party. You know, we stay in Jamaica already. We are not like, it's not like in the US where older people go out to a party and a function and people are like, oh my God, whose granddaddy is that? He ain't supposed to be here. It's only young people here. That's not how we party in Jamaica. When the Dennis Brown them are licking in the middle of the night and you know me I say all them other kind of, the Bob Marley them are spin off and you know the cocotees and these kind of tune. Be a big tune a lick and you're out there with a cup soup or a box food. Nothing don't beat that under the stars. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably time for that. It's probably time for that. I wish him all the best on his journey. His family seems well put together. His family seems like they will definitely be there to support him. He should be okay. He is in a better position than many who have been deported and had nobody there to support them when they landed in Jamaica. Could you imagine you've been in the US for 50 years and you are deported to Jamaica and you have nobody there? You don't even remember the country because you haven't been back. You don't know how the place run. You don't know the cultural changes. You left as a kid. You come back to Jamaica. Your accent, your US accent is stronger than your Jamaican accent. People recognize you immediately as a foreigner. You don't have nobody to pick you up at the airport. You don't have nowhere to sleep. You have to go try to find a shelter. Bunk sit on some floor somewhere until you can find a bed. You know, people are in way worse situation than he is. I know this is not what his family wanted for him, but it is what it is. And our message in this for us and our audience is whatever island you come from, because we're Caribbean people gathered here, right? Majority Jamaicans and Jamaican offsprings come here, and Jamaicans who are living outside of Jamaica gather at this channel, but we do have others from other Caribbean islands. Make sure you invest in your Caribbean island, friend. Alright, make sure you have a place put down there. Either it's going to be a retirement place, is a place, but make sure it's a place where if they look at you one day and say, come out. Well, they won't say come out, how we say that. They say leave. Get your Caribbean ass up out of here. You could say, alright then, I'm going home. And you go home. And you'll be okay going home. Alright? Alright. The next topic we have to talk about this morning is Jah Cure's victim. Shall we say victim? Jah Cure victim. From the story that we got, Jah Cure was over in the Netherlands. He was booked by a promoter to do a string of shows. And the deal was that he would get paid from each one of these shows that he did. As you know, music is his trade. Him sing, you pay him. He performs on stage, he does more than sing, you pay him. He fills the venue, you sell the tickets, the ladies come out to see Jah Cure, it's a night to be had. You made your money, promoter, you pay the artists. What we heard was that Jah Cure was not properly paid, over multiple shows. So I'm start to say, yo, promoter, what kind of thing you deal with, bro? You fly me come all the way over here so if you abuse me and I'm paying me my money, I'm doing the shows. And the promoter answered with badness. Back at that. Ease yourself, man. Now I'm paying nothing. Relax yourself. Soon get your money. Jah Cure is like, listen, I'm not doing no more shows. And they had some kind of dispute. I don't know if the promoter said, well, you know, we done invest money already. Went on the radio, advertise your show coming up. We done spend money for flyers and posters and all these other promo things. So you have to go perform the show. And the man said, I'm not performing the show till you pay me for the next show them that I already did. So we now pay you nothing. Furthermore, you're up on my turf. You're in my place. You're far away from home. And Jah Cure said, oh, that you said. I saw a bad man, something you deal with. Alright, now show you bad. And that's when we heard that phone call, right? I'm going to stab Papa about 1,000 times. Jah Cure said, me there damn square right now. I got the knife on me, blood. I'm going to stab him about 1,000 times. He stood on business. That's what we heard. Let's hear now from the victim speaking out. Shout out to Dancehall Mag. Dancehall Mag carries a lot of dancehall content. A lot of the times the stuff is printed in other places as well. But we take it from Dancehall Mag because we vibe with Dancehall Mag. Alright? Jah Cure victim speaks out. Says, I forgive him, but I will never forget. The Dutch concert promoter, Ricardo Papa Blake. Remember when Jah Cure voice note say, he might go stab Papa about 1,000 times. Ricardo Papa Blake says that he has forgiven Jah Cure following the October 2021 incident in which the reggae singer stabbed him over a disputed performance fee. However, Blake maintains, though, that while he harbors no malice, the memory of that attack remains vivid. Him say because me is a God-fearing youth, me forgive him, but me not forget, he said. Recalling the horrific incident, Blake noted that it was sheer luck, he said, that he survived this altercation in Amsterdam's Dam Square. That's one of the things that the judge said. They couldn't let Jah Cure off with this because in the Netherlands, in those parts of the world, their murder rate and violent crime rate is very low. They had never seen anything like this before. And not only for the victim who got stabbed, but for the people, their citizens, to have to witness such barbaric act traumatized its citizens. Them take them thing as serious over there, so. And I like Jamaica where every minute we say man with head bust. We see our next video, man get shot on him belly all out in the street, and you know, a woman get shot and piece of her head lean off over there, so. And we start to become desensitized by it. Their population is not desensitized to violence. They barely ever see violence. The doctor told me, Papa said the doctor told me that if Jah Cure did only stab me with some power, and him hand did go up in the ear more, then him would have stabbed me directly in my heart. Him would have killed me. I will never forget what he did. Me and him can never be friends. I don't sorry for him. Everything in my face, him put himself in it, is what Papa said. Papa is speaking out to clear his name amid the allegations that he engaged in shady business regarding Jah Cure. He categorically denies owing Jah Cure £500 as a balance for a performance at the Mel Queg, which is a cultural center and music venue in Amsterdam days before the incident. According to Blake, He said, I'm going to use his name interchangeably, his names. Papa Blake. According to Blake, he said that Jah Cure initially approached him for help to secure some bookings. It's not him approach Jah Cure. Jah Cure approached him for some help to secure some bookings. And at first he said, I didn't want to do it because Cure is a problem. Every time him come, is always something with him. So on my first run-in with him, he's a problem. And when him asked me to help him secure some bookings, I never did really want to do it initially still. But a mutual acquaintance of ours named Caliboy. Caliboy eventually helped me secure a show at the Melkweg for an agreed fee of £5,000. Blake, which is Papa, who gets stabbed up, and his partner delivered the advance in cash to Jah Cure. We met up with him, and we gave him €500 notes. Then, wait there, pause a little bit there. So a $5,000 event, the fee was agreed to be $5,000 or £5,000. So no give big Jah Cure €500 up front. $500 deposit on a $5,000 show. First of all, this is another thing that a lot of people don't know. Your favorite big artists go overseas, go do show for £5,000 and less. Now, it may seem like a lot of money to some people, but to others who are getting way more money. Think about a Vybz Kartel, right? A 500,000 Vybz Kartel probably could have command when you're commanding 5,000. Levels to this, But anyway, as an independent artist like Jah Cure was, that's how you make your money. Because if you get 10 €5,000 shows, you got a lot of money, right? And you just drive through the place, go travel earth and scrape up a bag here, a bag there. So Papa said we met up with Jah Cure and we gave him €500 notes after agreeing to a £5,000 fee. When me and Caliboy carried the money to him say, a long time I no see them money here. And I now spend the money. He was going to bring it back to Jamaica to put it down safe, Blake said. A long time, Jah Cure. This either he is lying or I'm misinterpreting what he's saying. Maybe it means that Jah Cure says long time he hasn't seen the €100 notes. And him say must go keep those as souvenir. Go put it down back at Jamaica safe. It can't be a long time him not get paid this much. When me and Caliboy bring the money to him, he said a long time him not see them money here. And he wasn't going to spend the money. He was going to bring it back to Jamaica to put it down safe. Blake claimed that the agreement got sour once the singer realized the prestige of the venue. He then said to us, if you're going to put me in the Melkweg, you can't pay me 5,000. You have to pay me 10,000. Because them venue here a big venue. Then he told Caliboy that he would have to pay his band and then them kind of things there. So I guess they agreed on one thing first and then Jah Cure switched later and said, no, when him see the venue, him say a big venue this. But check this out, right? Jah Cure obviously never did his homework then if that's the case. Because if somebody booked me for a venue, right, and we agree on performance fee, either I'm going to just don't care how many people are going to show up. That means if 50,000 people show up and you charge $20 a person, 50,000 times $20, you rich off of that. but you're only going to give me $5,000. I'm going to go my business. Either I accept it and go away, or I'm going to do my own research on the venue first. What is the capacity of the venue? If them tell me, say, the venue can hold 5,000 people, you can't pay me $5,000 to perform in there. That means I'm only getting $1 off of each ticket that is sold. And if you're selling tickets to a Jah Cure show for 20 euros a ticket, and me only I get $1 off of each ticket, all that money going to you would be unfair. So I would definitely be negotiating beforehand. So you can't make an agreement and then switch after. But I don't hear any plan. I don't hear any talks of any official contract and paperwork here, which is something you should. If it's even a scribble down, them should have said, you know what? Write this down. This is how much you agree. This is how much we're advancing, and we'll pay the rest after the show done. Him say once Jah Cure said the venue, Jah Cure said, nah, you can't pay me 5,000 euro, you have to pay me 10,000 euro for that. Big prestigious venue that. Plus, you have to go pay me band too. And them thing there. The promoter said that's when things went sour. And he said that he felt like Jah Cure was trying to stick him up. You know? Trying to get way more done. Well, the promoter said he felt that Jah Cure did try to stick him up. And noting that Jah Cure had just performed solo at the Belgian festival for 3,000 patrons by himself. He just did that in Belgium. And now you're going into a club with a band. Cure was saying, but this and but that and but this and but that. So what if he performed in Belgium for 3,000 fans by himself, and now he's going into a club with a band? So I guess Papa did have an issue, and I said, you don't need no band, bro. Just you didn't use the band when you performed for the 3,000 patrons. This is a club. Why are you going in there with a band? I want we if you come pay a band now too. Do the same kind of performance, you know what I'm saying? Make it cheaper. So despite the initial thoughts of cancelling the whole event, the promoter Papa said he proceeded to protect their reputation with the venue. Because, you know, they might want to book another artist later, and the venue could look at them and say, nah, because I remember when you did that Jah Cure stuff and y'all pulled out at last minute, and we could have had somebody else and we didn't because we thought you were going to stick to your agreement. He said once you book, they sign the flyer, just tell them the name of the artist and the price. So when that venue puts the tickets on sale, if it's a good venue that the people them want, within an hour, you can sell 500 to 600 tickets just 1 hour. So when Cure wanted to switch now to using our bands, we the promoter, we would have to change the price of the ticket to recoup our investments. But the venue was already selling at the arranged price that we already had, is what Papa explained. So eventually, all parties involved hammered out an agreement to pay the band a fee of an additional 500 euros, and the promoters, to preserve their reputation, agreed to that additional fee. So now it turned to 5,500. However, he said that tensions rose after the show when the band demanded 1,500 euros instead of the 500 that they had agreed upon. The promoters transferred 2,000 euros to an account to cover the band and the final deposit for Jah Cure. However, Blake claims that Jah Cure continued to insist on an additional $500 cash payment and later demanded $2,000 the following day for travel expenses, claiming that the bank transfer was inaccessible. Him can't get to the money. Now, if y'all agreed on a $5,000, hey Blake, watch what y'all saying now, bro. Because if y'all agreed on a 5,000 euro fee, and then you agreed for 500 for the ban, that's 5,500 euros. Forget all the other semantics. Yes, him want 10,000 instead, blah, blah, blah. Y'all are arguing. Him say I go with him ban, and you have to pay the ban. Uno say, okay, fine. 500 euro extra for the ban. 5,500 it is. You claim that you gave him 500, right? And him take it. That was the initial where he said he was going to put that down in Jamaica. And then you gave him 1,500 for the ban instead of the 500. So that's 15 plus 5. That's 2,000 euros already. And then you said you transferred another 2,000 to an account to cover the band and the final deposit for Jah Cure. Me not too good with maths. But this was not one of them 2 times y plus x to the 10th power. It's not hard to figure out. A 4,000 euro you give the man. Bro. That means you would have owed him 1,000 euros to make it to 5,000 euros, which was the initial how much y'all agreed on. Right? I'm going through the details. He said Jah Cure came back the next day and demanded 2,000 euros the following day, saying that the bank deposit that they made, he can't get to it. The situation reached a breaking point when Blake threatened to cancel 4 other upcoming shows in Kenya and in Ghana, bookings that would have earned Jah Cure over 100,000 US dollars. And at that y'all gonna use now and cancel them the other show there, you never pay the man properly. Either me slow in maths, I need my audience to help me. Either I'm slow in maths. Let me go back over it one more time, because it clearly says here, you paid him 500 first. Him take the 500. You paid him in 5 100-pound notes. He took it. He said, wow, long time me not see money like this. Me not spend it. Me can't go Jamaica, go put it down safe. That's 500. Then you said he wanted to use a band. You didn't agree on any band. But you said, you know what? For peace sake, him want 500 for the band. When the band done perform, the band said them no want no 500. Them want 1,500 instead of the 500. The promoter transferred 2,000 to an account to cover the ban and the deposit for Jah Cure. So you never gave them the 1,500. They demanded it, but you didn't give them. You paid them 500 plus 1,500, which made 2,000. So at 2,500, you gave Jah Cure. They paid Jah Cure $2,500, half of the $5,000. And then try use badness and tell the man about you go cancel the rest and show them in a Kenya and Ghana, which would have earned him another 100,000 US. I told Jah Cure that even if I have $1 million, I would never give you. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to cancel the Africa shows them. That was when he got pissed off. Yeah, Blake, yeah, try bad him up. He alleged that Jah Cure then sent numerous threatening notes, which Blake says he has never released to the public or used in court because he was leaving this case alone. He must send himself go prison. This is what he said. He said Jah Cure sent himself go prison. When they first arrested him, he said he didn't do it. Then he changed that and said he did it in self-defense. Now for the stabbing part, Blake described the subsequent meeting at Dam Square as a daylight ambush. And he claimed that Jah Cure lulled him into a false sense of security. Him called me, you know. And him talk to me normal. And I said to him, say, yo, you calm down now. And him say, yeah man, I calm down now, come link me. And make we talk. And if you not come, say you not come. Alright? Remember say we have business for handle. And I say, alright then, good. Him calm down, so I soon forward. Damn. He then made a video and showed me Dam Square. Blake said, he said, this is where I'm at, in Dam Square right here. Blake said he ran an errand with his son, and then he went to see Jah Cure in Dam Square hours later. When I reached there, him stand up behind two men. And me stand up in front of Penko. That was the man whose account I had transferred the money in the night before. Maybe that's why you heard Jah Cure in the voice note saying I'm going to show Penko say it mustn't make people take advantage of him like that either. Because you transfer half of the money into Penko account, not the whole money. I said, Penko, why you don't just give Cure the money and make him go on? When him reach a Dam Square away and realize that it a go get serious because Jah Cure turn up back at two man. I said, Penko, why you don't just give Jah Cure the money make him go on? And before I could finish that sentence, him push him hand between the two man them. And him say, pussy papa. As I was stabbed. I never felt the stab. It's like them put garlic on the knife or something. And me I look upon the jacket and me see the cut upon my jacket. And him start make one whole heap of noise and one whole sight of excitement start. And him start run off of the scene and one thing to the next. He said everything that happened to Jah Cure is him do it to himself. So Jah Cure hide behind two men and stab him, so blind stab him between the two men them. And yo, me not laugh star, me not laugh at the stabbing, I'm laughing at how this all went down. I have never attended. He said I also revealed that Jah Cure tried to get people to contact me to change my version of events so him can go free, but I refused. I have never attended any of these court dates. The only time them see me in a court is when him lawyer asks the prosecution to summon me to question my credibility. Blake said the surgical team was forced to perform emergency surgery because of the extent of the injuries. The man them cut from under my chin, you know, from under my chest plate to all the way down through my navel, my belly button. They had to open him up. It's weeks and then months later, me see how God spared my life. The Netherlands Courts of Appeals laid out in excruciating detail the bodily harm that Blake suffered, including perforation of retroperitoneum and perforation of his stomach, the anterior and posterior walls of his stomach, retroperitoneum and left rectus had to be surgically closed, resulting in a large disfiguring scar running from under his chest to his lower abdomen down by his belly button. This injury had also have significant consequences in that the injured party required treatment after his surgery for persistent pain from the stab wound and underwent further surgeries in 2024 due to other complications from that same incident. The Court of Appeals said in a recent ruling. Now, despite all of that, Papa said that there is no malice that is directed at Jah Cure, and none of the voice notes that Jah Cure sent to him to my personal phone threatening me have ever been released or used against him in the courts. Everybody knows his ways. Everybody know him. Them know how Jakur stay at the end of the day. Whatever him get is whole away the hole him dig for himself. And that him go fall in. He said that the whole incident stemmed from Jah Cure's warped perspective. His argument is that me robbed him and me didn't pay him. And that itself is a lie. The only reason me and him in any contention is because him asked me for more money and me said no. And me now work with you no more and me I go cancel the Africa show them, and the Africa show them was supposed to pay a whole heap of money. And at that him get pissed about. So during the initial trial, judges in the lower courts had ruled that Jah Cure's actions were not a premeditated act of attempted murder and that he was acquitted of the more serious charge. He was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for the offense, proven in the first instance less time spent in pre-trial detention. But Dutch prosecutors have a way in their law where if the judge rule and they don't like the ruling, they can take the judge back to court and get the judge ruling changed. So Dutch prosecutors appealed that acquittal because they felt like they had proper proof that this was premeditated. The voice note. Remember, I know, the voice note with them here, where Jah Cure is saying, I'm in Dam Square right now, I'm going to stop Pop about 100,000 or 10,000 times or however he said. They got that from Jah Cure's phone. They didn't get it from Papa's phone. Right. Now, acquittal of the attempted murder, arguing that the attack was premeditated, evidence that was presented, including the threatening voice messages sent by Jah Cure to the victim hours before the attack. In October of 2025, the Amsterdam Court of Appeals agreed with the prosecutors, overturned the previous verdict, and found Jah Cure guilty of the more serious charge of attempted murder. So Jah Cure charge now is guilty of attempted murder. The appeal courts increased his sentence to 8 years and 4 months in prison instead of the initial 6. Prosecutors had initially requested that he be sentenced to 9.5 years in prison in the Netherlands. The lower courts had also ordered Jah Cure to pay Papa €9,452 in material and non-material damages. So the little money where you get that night there, gone. Only 2,500 you get anyway. So you end up pay way more anyways, and lost $100,000 US dollars from your 2 African shows. Blake's lawyer, Papa lawyer, said that he was pleased with the outcome and that it was not unusual for Dutch prosecutors to push for a conviction on the more serious charge of attempted murder. The stabbing was very violent and it happened in a public space during daytime hours. Children, everybody out there. So that makes it even more scarier, says Bowman, the attorney. He appealed to reggae fans to be fair in their assessment of this case and not to talk bad against his client, Ricardo Blake. Take into consideration, he said, that my client is a victim. He's not here to put blame on the singer, on someone who is famous and done a lot for Jamaica. He's a victim. The award doesn't cover the full range of his costs. He said, it was not unusual for the courts to grant a sum of money to the victim of acts where they had suffered injury. This is basically what happens in Holland. It is not like a country where you can have big claims regarding money which is lost, but in general, what is important here is that he, Blake, Papa, he was hurt. He had endured a lot of operations and he still has a lot of medical problems due to what had happened to him. So therefore, this was more than normal to request a sum of money. Bowman said that the gravity of the nature of the attempted murder conviction would not increase the sum that was awarded. He explained in the Dutch lower courts there was an initial sum requested, and that sum is the ground for the ruling of the higher courts, so you can't add money once you get to a higher court. Still, Blake is yet to receive any payment from that which he was granted. Of course, because Jah Cure is locked up. The singer went on for an appeal in the higher courts, and therefore the money isn't paid over. It all depends on the system in the higher courts, and he is not voluntarily paying me the money, that's for sure, so I'm not going to go sue him. This will be Jah Cure's second 8-year stint behind bars. So at the end of all this, Jah Cure would have done about 16 years of his life in prison. The singer previously served 8 years of a 15-year sentence in prison in Jamaica for illegal possession of a firearm. A rape charge was attached to that, and robbery with aggravation. The rape charge thing, we can get into a whole different video about that and dispute. Apparently, Jah Cure was a protege, up and coming. All the big stars had him in their circle. The next little Rasta boy we are gonna bust big. And there was a girl whose her stepfather, our father, was some high-ranking police officer. Not like Rasta boy. So apparently it got back to him that Jah Cure was having relations with his daughter, and then therefore came about the firearm and rape charges that Jah Cure was locked up in Jamaica for. I'm not saying if it's true or a lie. I'm saying those are the rumors surrounding that story, which we're now going to touch upon today. Listen, it's Friday. Today is February 6, 2025. Have a wonderful weekend. My granny Miss Ruby said be good. If you can't be good, be careful, but it's best to be good. My grandfather, Mas Cleavy, said, I will see you tomorrow, if God spare life. Take sleep, mark death. Take Jah Cure situation to use it to make a better situation for yourself. When I say that, I say this. 5,000 euros they would have given him. The promoter, by his own admissions, only paid half. Then claims him don't owe the man nothing. We must understand that our actions cause reactions. So Papa, if you did pay him 5,500 upfront, like agreed from the beginning, this probably would have never happened. I could see where you were flexing like Badman, but you got to cancel the rest of the show them. And the rest of the show was a real big food. Jah Cure, on the other hand, must also take responsibility and know, say, you know what? I could have easily said to myself, me not deal with that brother here ever again. You know what? Give me the 2,500 where you give me. I'm going to give the band them 500. Or give them 1,500 like they requested. Take 5 for myself. Call it a loss and move on to Africa, where I will be getting the 100K. But if you have power over the shows I'm about to do in Africa, you're saying now that 100,000 US would have been the pay I would have gotten. But if you rob me now for 5,000 and I give me only 2,500, that kind of show me say, yeah, go carry me go Africa, go do 2 more shows where big money is involved, and then you're probably going to do the same thing and rob me even more. Take it for what it's worth. Actions cause reactions. Not everybody is willing to take a loss. Some people will lose and loss you to prove a point. Sad how it turned out. To Rastaman. Alright, so have a wonderful weekend, people, and I will see you again sometime soon. I'm out. Peace.